That's it. So we've got a real treat for you. James Patrick, a friend of ours, lives out in the frigid great tundra of the Minneapolis area, and he's an Ableton certified trainer and very skilled electronic musician, and he's going to do some things for us through the 64 that are a little different and unique. And so if you want to come see a different style of mixing and a different approach to the 64 mixer, hey, now's the time. So James, my pleasure.
Hey guys. Hey guys, can everyone hear me okay? Can you hear me? I'm up, so check. Yeah, I'm up. I've got us up. Okay, and now we're up. All right, everyone, we're good? Hi guys. I'm James Patrick. I'm down. Sorry. Yeah, I think we're okay. There's so much ambient noise here, pardon me. My name is James Patrick, and I'm really excited to be here at NAMM this year. My background is electronic music and DJing. I started DJing in the mid-90s, and I was a vinyl DJ, and at the time I was a really big Rane DJ fan. I loved the Rane rotary mixers. I was playing house music and techno music in the Midwest in the mid and late 90s, and the Rane mixers I loved. Getting more into production though, around the year 2000, I found myself wanting a mixer that would offer me more inputs and outputs, and offer me the ability to incorporate drum machines and synthesizers into my DJ sets, into my workflow. Yeah, we're going to turn down that a little bit, that'll be cool. This is an interesting presentation environment, having so much ambient noise around, so if anyone feels like I need to speak louder or quieter, just give me the sign and I'll do that. But basically, you know, I kind of drifted away from Rane DJ mixers around the year 2000, 2002, because I felt that I needed a mixer with more flexibility, more that I could use in my kind of live techno house setups. Because with a lot of techno music, you don't just want turntables, you want to be able to bring in your own effects and your own filters and distortion and maybe some synthesizers, and I needed a tool that could do more for me. So I tried a lot of different tools, and I actually ended up doing a lot of mixing just in the box. I'd bring like a Motu interface and do everything software style. And that's fun, but you lose a lot of the tactile, gestural magic that can happen when you're really having your hands on some gear. And of course, we all probably know the Rane quality, the build quality and sound quality level is fantastic. So when the 64 came around, I was really, really excited. It was pretty recently. I was presenting with Ableton at the Decibel Festival in Seattle, and I got to meet Sean and a couple great people at Rane. I was exposed to this mixer and got to really run it through the paces. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys, I have two different demonstrations that I'm doing. One for today is basically how I perform as a DJ using the Rane 64. And I use just about every button on the thing, and it's become a really great tool to have in my live set, my live DJ set. I'll show you how I do that. And then the second presentation that I'm actually doing tomorrow at 3 o'clock is how I use this in the studio with drum machines and hardware, and use it to actually like compose and arrange tracks. I actually play in a 5-piece funk band where I use a modular synthesizer, and I mix with this, and I run the band via DI boxes and whatever into this, and I've got my own drum machines. I'm sampling and looping the whole band, and I run them all through the Rane. So it's tomorrow at 3 o'clock is the production/performance in a live band context workshop, whereas today is like a solo performance demonstration, and how you would use it most significantly with the Ableton Live software. I think most people out there are using Serato or Tractor. I'm a really heavy live user, so I'm going to focus on how it can be integrated into this workstation. So I guess how I'll start is I'm going to play a minute or two of music so you guys can get a feel for what kind of music I like to play and make. I'll just do this for a minute or two, and then I'll get back to the talking. So. If you can look on the screen, I've got 8 tracks of drum machines and synthesizers, which are 1 through 8. And then 9 through 12, I have my loops and audio tracks. So 9 through 12 are my stereo audio feeds, and those are all going discretely into the Rane. And then I have 1 through 8, which are all coming back in on aux returns, which are drum machines, effects, and insert effects. So I'll explain more about that in a moment. So now I've got two discrete tracks. We're looking at 9 and 11 right now, and they're both on their own channels here. Right? So that's slick. Important thing to note too, I have no audio connections into the mixer at all. This is all happening with one USB cable, which is, to me, really mind-blowing too. Another big variable that's overlooked a lot is not only am I connected with one USB cable for all of these discrete channels in both directions, but there's a whole other USB jack for my collaborator who can come in, plug in, and via the routing matrix also have access to all those discrete channels at the same time. So I have a partner who uses Tractor, and he uses 4 decks with Tractor with the S4, and he doesn't even use the audio on the S4 at all. The USB's in, and we can just mix together at the same time, and with a Wi-Fi mini sync signal if we want. We don't even have to beat match, but frankly that takes away a lot of the fun. So I literally beat match the drum machines and he's beat matching Tractor, and we're just like humping the routing matrix the whole time, and it's really incredibly fun. So I have discrete filter control on every track too. So having discrete filters on each track is really powerful too. I of course have filters or whatever I want inside the digital realm, but as we all know, working outside of there is way more enjoyable and also usually ends up sounding better. So if you've used Rane mixers before, you know how good the EQs and the preamps sound. I mean, they're the best. I really believe. To be perfectly honest, part of the reason why I got this gig is that I'm a heavy Ableton user, but I've been a heavy Allen and Heath user since about the year 2000. And until I discovered this mixer, I didn't quite have a need to innovate, because I just had this nice solid analog mixer that sounded fine. And I didn't really have a vision for how it could be better. But Rane has really succeeded in proving to me that it could be a lot better. Just alone, never having to hook up your scratch amp, you just USB in, and if you're a scratch user, you just put it into scratch amp mode, and your time code goes right through the mixer, right into your software, and you don't need anything to translate the time code. You can DJ right with your control vinyls right through the mixer, right along while I'm playing Ableton with a Moog on the same tracks. I mean, it's a whole new world of DJ mixers that are out there right now, and this to me is really the flagship piece. So I'll keep playing now for a little bit. I specialize in sexy dance music. That's my style. I usually play at 3 in the morning. I barely ever play for less than 3 or 4 hours at a time. And I'm only playing top billing in my life right now. And this thing goes with me everywhere. You know, it's really helped my music get a lot more tight, a lot more under control. And I bring a USB cable and the mixer. Just alone getting away from having a huge collection of cables and shit is just like really great. So a big breakthrough that I think that this kind of technology can lead people to is breaking through from just the DJ to the producer. It's inevitably you're going to get away from just playing other people's tracks when you have this kind of I/O capability. I find myself as an artist producer almost no longer thinking about making songs anymore. I think about sound. And when I'm at home playing with my synthesizer, I can just make sound. And I can love that sound. And I don't have to be down about, is this track good enough? Or is this ready for the crowd? Fuck it, it doesn't matter. You make sounds that are beautiful, you put them on tracks, and you can route them anywhere. I can have content that is pretty much good to go. And I know I've got my cool effects in my tractor or in my Ableton, and I have all these channels. I have one whole set of channel scripts that's all just synth resamples. It's like, yeah, this was me last night recording my synth and drum machine. I recorded for a half hour, dropped it onto a track, chopped it up, and now I'm DJing the stuff that I made last night in the hotel room, right alongside of my tracks, you know. The integration and fluidity that's possible here is really amazing. And I haven't even really gotten started on showing you the most amazing features. I'm mostly just giving you guys a feel for what kind of a person I am. Some of the effects that are on board with the Rane 64. The Rane 64 has 6 effects banks that are all pretty dynamic. You've got a variety of effects parameter controls, and if you're interested in checking those out, I'll show them to you after the workshop. But for now, you can probably look up here on this screen, and right here are my flex effects controls. I have time, beat sync. I have I can monitor my effects discreetly, and I can also insert my own USB effects on top of those internal hardware effects, which is totally amazing. So if I just want to apply some reverb, it's quite easy. So now I'm applying reverb onto the mix. Okay? So that's easy. I just insert flex effects on the track right here, and then I choose my effect, and I set the depth and the level. Here's a delay. So that thing is wild. You can get into some really cool flangey effects. And it's pretty profound. All these effects are really interesting. And to me, what makes them even more useful is, frankly, I have a big complaint with most DJ mixers that have onboard effects, is that once you've heard the echo or whatever, you've heard it. You know, it's boring, frankly. But all I need to do inside of this flex effects column, if you take a look at this, I can insert my USB A or B. I could have 2 discrete computers. Right now I have channels in Ableton, that are just monitoring my effects channels. And once I insert my effects here and I hit effects A, I now, if you look at the orange monitoring track over here, on number, number 12? Number 13. I can insert my own Ableton DSP effects right into the Flex Effects system. And now this is where things get super profound, because maybe I'm writing a track one night and I come up with a really cool channel strip where I'm like, oh man, listen to that distortion, that is amazing. It's so fat. I can just drop it onto a track, run it in parallel next to my DJ channel strips in Ableton or wherever, and I can just insert those discreetly right onto my own tracks inside of the mixer. I don't even have to worry about inserting them at all or using aux sends inside of the computer. But wait, here's where it gets even more profound. When my partner is playing with Tractor, he plays a song with Tractor, he just drops the beat, he's scratching, whatever. I can now insert my own Ableton DSP effects over his Tractor channels discreetly. So maybe he has 4 tracks of Tractor all coming out at the same time, and he's mixing and killing it. I can be like, I'm gonna try that distortion rack, but only on his 3rd loop in his mix. And now I can insert my DSP on discrete tracks from his session, which, if any of you followed that, you would be like, wow. If you didn't, that's okay. You can chat with me after this workshop, and I'd be happy to get more in depth with you. So that's really, to me, one of the most exciting elements of it too, as a collaborator. So I play a few more bits of music now. So at this point, what I end up using, the only real redundancy now in my live set is that I don't really need these faders on the APC anymore. I actually have always said, you know, the Ableton Launchpad, it's like a toy, it doesn't really do much. But if I have this and a Launchpad, I mean the Launchpad I think is like $100. The APC essentially is just a clip launching tool now, and I can control some effects, you know, that's great, but I can control all of my MIDI effects from here too, because just about every one of these knobs also send MIDI via the USB out back into the computer. So I don't even, a Launchpad for $100, I can launch my clips, and if I hold Shift, Zach pointed this out to me today, if I want to bypass the analog functionality of this stuff, I can hold Shift. And now this is just a big MIDI controller. And when I disengage Shift, it's back to analog control. So that's also really cool. So I don't even, I mean, all this stuff is fun, but especially for a lot of people who are getting into DJing, which most people are who are, I mean, maybe you guys who are at NAMM have been DJing for 20 years and stuff, but in the current market, I mean, EDM and all of this stuff is extremely popular now. And having to have a push and a mode synthesizer and all that is really, it's extraneous. You need a good I.O. that can be flexible and that can sound good. And you need content that sounds rich, you know what I mean? And that's what matters, you know, and beyond that, it's about having fun. I have a lot more fun with one tool that I know really well, and then I can use my 20 years of DJing experience just to rock and feel like a producer, you know? Because I'm really having control over every individual sound. And I'm not just scratching to make new sounds, you know what I mean? I'm really having discrete processing over every element. So artistically, it's really infinite, so. Who here is using a Rane DJ mixer right now in your workflow? Yeah? Okay. Rane, let's see. Who here is using Pioneer DJ mixers in your workflow? Okay, cool. I'm excited to get some questions answered, but I think I'll wait till the end of the workshop when I don't have to yell over all of this noise. 16 hours earlier than I usually play, so I got my coffee. Usually not coffee, but... Oh yeah. Gotta keep those Ableton meters on the reds. That's a trick. Like I said, I've got this mixer over here that's a little extraneous. I should almost just set them all up to unity and like break the caps off, you know? But inevitably I'm touching it because I'm just used to doing that. Let's listen to a few more of the effects inside of the Rane before we get into more ESP stuff. Let's do the, not only do I have discrete filters on every track, but I also can have a global filter. So if I want one big master filter to be over the whole mix, I can do that too. Let's try that out. I close off all my normal discrete filters and I engage flex effects on all the tracks. And I have it in filter mode. And now I can tweak the filter right here. So now it's a global filter on the whole mix, and I can still apply unique discrete filters if I want. So we have gain stage management all the way through this, and it's all very tactile. The knobs feel really good. They're not too close together. You know, you can pretty much close your eyes and just jam on this if you DJ'd for more than a couple months. Another thing I'll point out about the 64, I'm not talking too much, am I? Okay, I just want to have a nice balance here. I'm used to like, so you see this? No, you can actually see it on the screen. Along the sides here, I'm now looking down, these are all of your Serato and Tractor DJ controls. So for my homies that use Serato, they love this because, again, it's one less thing you got to worry about. The MIDI controller or whatever, you can set up all of your cue points right along down here on the bottom. You have your slip, roll, loop, and even track selection controls here. So I can go ahead and adjust my, I can choose tracks, I can launch tracks, and on the very top, you have a selector for which deck you're controlling. So I have deck 1 and 3 on the left, and deck 2 and 4 on the right. I feel like my mic is kind of cutting out. Is it okay? Can you hear me okay? Okay, good. So with being able, I can have discrete control of all 4 decks all along the right end. And then